All right. Yep, it is 5:30. Let's get this neuro party started with our emotional regulation. You're going to inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale on my descending count of 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right. Hello, Daisy. Let me flip this back around. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, Dr. Donna Louise Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Today's live is breathe in and breathe out 3 times. Yes, we did that, Jared. H2O, ladies and gentlemen. H2O. Good morning. Cooking with Maddie's grandma. Sponsored by H2O, the elements. I'm going to say, drink water. And you're going to type, drink water. And then we are going to drink water because the brain is 73% to 80% water. And if you are on the West Coast like myself and my daughter, you potentially just woke up. As a result, your body can dehydrate just by simply sleeping. Now, today's topic is principle number 72. Meet your potential. We are coming around third with 2 more principles left over, and that will close out our tell me, show me phase with the let me phase soon to follow. And the principle of real leadership, the quote for today is, it's possible to meet your potential more than once. So people say, you have so much potential. You have so much potential. Oh no, God too so has so much potential. And so you make it seem like, good morning, Bridget, that it is just one potential, but it is a process. And we will find that out today. Without further ado, let's listen to Dr. Donna's definition of the principle of real leadership, meet your potential. Meeting your potential is the daily discipline. So it's daily, of becoming who you are capable of being, not who you are comfortable being. Say what now? So it's who you are capable of being, not who you are comfortable of being. And so as we were on the TikTok live, that's basically frozen water. So you comfortable being frozen stuff, and that's very much predictable. So it is in using your gifts, your effort, and choices to close the gap between ability and output. Eliminating excuses, leaks, and limitations that prevent you from operating at your highest level on purpose and without delay. It is your higher self. That is correct, Jared. And so why, and we just doggone here. Okay. The question that I have for you this morning is, why is it so challenging to meet your potential? Why is it so challenging to close those gaps, to stop making excuses, and prevent you from operating at your higher self, from going from comfortable to daily capability? Why is it so challenging for you specifically? I'm talking to you, and you yourself personally. There won't be a here's why adults. That's not what's happening today. So today we're talking about it, and then we're going to talk about daily actions, and then to Nola's happiness, there is a quiz today. So I'll let you know now, my amazing offspring. Comfort zone syndrome. Yes. So that comfort versus capability, because comfort is easy. You just wake up every day and do it, or do nothing. And now you're comfortable. You really don't. It's just comfort. I like comfort. Comfort is cool. I mean, right now I got my Boo House shoes on. I was so happy when it first gets fall and I get to put them on. And by March, I'm ready to throw these motherfuckers out the window because I'm sick of wearing them. I'm sick of all of it. I'm like, I'm tired of putting on layers. And with perimenopause, I'm putting layers on, taking layers off, putting layers on, kicking off my socks, putting my socks back on, putting my house shoes back on, putting my jacket back on. So now comfort ain't comfortable no more. But it feels safe. Remember, the amygdala are saying stay safe and stay the same. We ain't got to do that. No, we good. What you mean you about to start reading the book a week, Jared? No, we had a system, 2 books a month. That's what we get ready to do. We're not going to do anything else. No, we're not going to check back with the school to see what's happening. We're not about to get rid of these clothes, man. You shoot. These Jordans is from 1991, man. This is your first pair. You can't get rid of these. Sole coming off and everything, but you still hold on to it. No, because that energy is in there. You're losing out on your potential by holding on to your comfortable. So you can't get to your capable because you too Comfortable. Comfortable. But comfort is killing you softly. It is killing you softly. It is, your soul is like, why do you keep choosing comfort every day? We are so much more than this. The prefrontal cortex is like, how you know about my old Jordans? Because we 2 years apart. I had the black Ultra Suede Jordan 1s when they first came out, or the tubes. That's how I know. I had a pair of royal blue. As I'm a sneakerhead in disguise. I had a pair of royal blue Adidas Forms 3/4 lengths. And I let my sister wear those shoes, y'all, and she lost them in New York. I have not recovered from that. I used to have 14 when I was in high school. I had 14 pair of sneakers with the matching socks because you couldn't be perpetrate. So if I had on my red Adidas Forms, I had my red Adidas socks. If I had on my royal blue Adidas Forms, I had on my royal blue socks. I had a pair of green running feelers with my green feeler socks. How do you, I don't know, Bridget. I don't know. I don't know. But some stuff you just can't let go. I wanted to part ways with those doggone shoes. I could have gave them to somebody. Whew. And then we had an appointment at somebody's house. Is a DJ that DJs at the clubs, and he had a pair. And I looked at them shoes while we was putting that treadmill together. I was like, I had those shoes. I had those shoes, and I told him. And he said, "Man, if they was your size, I would give them to you." Okay. Why? Why am I foot 11? Why? I gave them to her unknowingly. No. I promise you, I did that on TikTok Live. I got a pair of gold Chuck Taylors. It's a pale blue. I got a pair of doggone yellow and blue Reeboks. We still can't find those shoes. They sitting in the box. I still got a pair of brand new Adidas that still got the tag on them that I bought like 7-8 years ago. And Noah got a pair. And I was like, I got those. She said, yeah, you never even wore them. They still got the tags on them. Ain't popped the tag, ain't did nothing. Anyway, I digress. So Jared, you gotta be like Teddy P. You gotta let it go. Because it's stopping you from growing. Because you can't grow. I got my brain is 95% song lyric shirt on. Okay, so that's no brain on. So here is the bullet comment version of Meet Your Potential. So we can get into it and unpack this bad boy. Potential is unused capacity. Comfort protects it, but discipline delivers it. So you have unused potential. Unused. That means it hasn't been used yet. It's unused. And your comfort is saying, no, we good. We don't leave that where it is. We don't need to use that. We don't need no new neural pathways. We are good. I was so mad when Air Max 95 started to crumble. Now, let me tell you about them doggone Air Maxes, Jared. My dumb behind literally bought a pair of Air Maxes and went to basic training. And Drill Sergeant Boatwright said, Pride, let me tell you something. You running them shoes and you gonna get shin splints. Drill Sergeant, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm Donna T. I'm good. Guess who got shin splints? Guess who was almost in a jail cast behind them damn shin splints? And guess who ain't never ran in a pair of Nike shoes ever, never, ever again? I'm not Ulit. I ain't breaking two. I literally, from that day forward, been running in Asics. I can't run no more, but the whole time I could run, I was in Asics. I said, I ain't got to look cute no more running. I'm telling you, yeah, so I understand what you're saying from a look, but when you trying to see 130 rolling down the strip, those shoes was not it. Not at all. And never, ever. I ain't, listen, Nola ain't never had a pair of Nikes I bought. I was like, shit, we are not a Nike. We not doing nothing. We not just doing it over here. No. When she was in PE, she had on Asics. And I think she had some Skechers at one point. But yeah, I get you. They look good. They cute. But nah. Not for no PT. Not for me. Not in the 90s. All right. So it's unused potential. Unused capacity. And it protects. So comfort protects it. And then discipline delivers it. So in order for you to get to your potential, you're going to have daily discipline. That's how it goes. I got a pair of hookahs and they look crazy. Yeah, the good shoes are ugly as hell. That's why all the old folks got on the easy spirits. Because listen, at some point you got to choose comfort. You don't get but 2 feet, man. So the LPCs got to be good. I take great care of my feet. I'm like, hey, I ain't messing around. So you got this unused capacity and your comfort wants to protect it, but discipline delivers it. That daily discipline is how you get to it. Now, you don't meet potential by wishing. You meet it by wiring. Ooh, I wish I could. That ain't gonna happen. You can wish all you want. You can put it on Wish. You can put it on your wish list in Amazon. But like we discovered yesterday, you can't buy no new neurons. It ain't happening. And I went looking for some new brain shirts and long sleeve shirts and hoodies because the weather is changing. And at no point when they were showing me the neuro t-shirts, did they say, hey, you want some bundle that with some neurons? That didn't happen. They had some other shit they was offering, but they never said. And so we put every brain t-shirt you purchase, you get one box of 1,000 neurons for free, tax free. That didn't happen. It never popped up at the bottom, not at all, because you got to wire it. You can't wish for it. You can't. I done put these t-shirts on for over a year now, and they came out as a nerd for over a year, started studying the brain in November, and at not one point did a neuron magically pop off of one of these shirts. It didn't just, I didn't take my wig off and say, what is that? Oh my God, look at all these neurons. All these neurons sitting in the top of my stocking cap. Oh, that's the bar. What's the bar, Jared? Yeah. So it didn't happen. They had to be created. They had every term, everything. This time last year, I did not know nothing that I am telling you about the brain today. Not and thing. Not until November the 2nd. So we are a week out. Had nothing. I just had the t-shirts on and I was like, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. How do I know? Because I went back and looked at my notebooks. So there you have it. I started doing the brain bits. And that's how we ended up here. That's potential. Used. Not wishing. Wiring. Number 3. You must close the gap between ability and output on purpose. You are closing the gap between ability and output on purpose. Today is number 721 days of me going live. And I have footage of me when I was first doing lives versus now. And there is a different output and there is a different ability for me. And my capacity is larger because of the daily discipline. That's why I tell y'all how many days I've been live so you can understand what it actually takes. Now, excuses, leaks, and delays destroy your potential faster than failure ever will. Excuses, leaks, and delays. We talked about that on the TikTok live. Later. I'm going to do that later because the holiday season is upon some of you, and you're going to spend the next 62 days, starting next Saturday, doing nothing. Talking about 3 days. And you're going to lose 62 days focused on 3 days. So that is a delay, and that is a excuse. And that is going to destroy. So you would be better off. Here's some real leader math. You would be better off on November 1st when everybody starts putting up trees and all kind of things. You would be better off making 63 mistakes from November 1st to January 2nd. Waking up every day, making a mistake, then saying, I'm put that off. You know what? Because now we got to put the lights up. Now we got to put the Christmas tree up. Now we got to do this. Now we got to go shopping. We got to go do Black Friday. We got to go do this. People coming in. We got to get the guest bedroom together. All of that. You'd be better off making 63 mistakes. Because when the new calendar year starts for you, for all of us, the new calendar year, now you got 63 data points of what doesn't work. And now you can do something with that. You actually can. And now you can make better strategies. So you start with your why and your strategy. And the next thing you know, you're doing something that you never thought was possible because of that daily discipline. And then real leaders treat potential like an obligation and not a compliment. Good morning, Regina. Real leaders treat potential like an obligation, not a compliment. Oh, look at you doing all that with your potential. All that potential over there. You going, Dr. Donna? Oh, I knew it. Look at your potential. No. You are obligated to meet it. That means you are obligated to address, and use all of your capacity. That's an obligation. I am obligated to meet my potential every year, every day. And that's why it's just more than one. Because it's like, oh man, you became an accountant. I knew it. I knew you had the potential to become an accountant. And then you like check the box and you're done. You got 50 more years to be here and that's it. 50 more years. That's why you know it's more than one. That's why you know it's a ever moving, ever evolving target. Because I could have stopped in 2008 when I became Dr. Donna. That was some good potential. And now what? Now what do I do 17 years later? Still doing that? Still speaking and holding up that book? not implementing the principles of real leadership, not attaching it to a theory, not studying the brain, mastering the brain, teaching others to do the same. I'm just still talking about, hey, here it is. Real leads wear pink, and you could be a leader. And I was only talking to business people and professionals at the time. Never would have got to the everyday person, even though it's everyday leadership for everyday life. But because of that daily commitment and that potential, it's an obligation. So if you're looking for a compliment about your potential, it ain't gonna happen. Or it is, and that's it. And you will not be using your capacity. So comfort protects it, but discipline delivers your potential. If you want to see your potential in action and you want it to happen, you want to feel it neurologically, it's going to take discipline, and you're going to have to tap into it every day. So that means no excuses, no leaks, and no delaying. Do it now. Procrastination is the enemy. It's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. And now you know it's stopping you from meeting your potential and then exceeding it. Because you can have a goal. I had a goal. I'll become Dr. Donna. That was on my list of 25. I talk about it in my book. And then, whoop, there it is. Now I have neuromobility. That wasn't even on my dance card. But now it is, because of that daily focus and daily discipline. What Nola has found out in her soon-to-be 5 years in business in February is that independent contractors specialize in a couple things, and that's it. And then they say, I got 30 years building closets. I got 30 years doing this. And they don't do anything else outside of the business, inside of the business. And now the gentleman that we build the closets with, we were faster than him, even though the client changed all our stuff and didn't change any of his stuff. His was set and go. Saying everything, what it said, put these drawers here, put these shelves here, and everything else. And then he was like, wow. And he's saying we're doing too much instead of saying I'm not doing enough. He just decided we were doing too much. We are out there meeting our potential, and his is comfort capacity. It's like, nope, I'm going to protect mine. I'm not getting paid for that. I'm not doing that. That's going to take too long. That's going to take me, I'm going to miss the game if I take that appointment and all these other things. And so he will never be as fast as us. He will never be as efficient as us. He will never be technically competent as Nola is. I tell you what, he wouldn't have been able to put that doggone desk together that tried to take us out with them scary bunnies. I know he wouldn't have been able to do that because the instructions, and he had everything printed out. It was one page. So I don't know. it was 2 pages, and it was 2 pieces of paper that came with the desk, and this very horrible drawing that was sent in English, but then you couldn't see the line. So it was like, well, which one we gonna use? So the potential, 5 years ago, she didn't have any of these abilities, but because of 2,500 appointments, she has all these capabilities now. And that's what meeting your potential means, is that for me, I know how to use an electric screwdriver now. Because I still wait for, Jared, you talking about you still got your Jordans from the 90s. I still have in the same Ziploc bag from the 90s, my Stanley screwdrivers and the nails that I use because I move so much to put the pictures on my wall in a freezer bag downstairs in our laundry cabinet. And when she started, guess what she started her business with? My hammer and my Stanley screwdrivers from the 90s. And then my mother's husband let her use his drill until she got her own equipment. And we was using king size bed sheets when she first started instead of drop cloths. And now it is a whole nother different scenario. A whole nother different scenario from exceeding the potential. Then we had backpacks from the house. We did not have our Husky bags and DeWalt bags and all that. None of that at all. And had a step ladder. Didn't even have a ladder. And now, 2,500 appointments later, she got every piece of equipment, every piece of hardware, everything that she needs. And now she's doing custom stuff. So that's meeting your potential. But you can't do that if you're staying in a comfort zone. You can't do that when you say, no, I only do IKEA. Oh, no, I don't mount. I don't drill in the walls. No, I can't do that. No, that's not how that works. So here are the 3 neuroscience daily actions. And now that we're 20 minutes in, drink water. So the neuroscience-based daily actions. Okay, there we go. I'm like, did the chat stop working, YouTube? So number 1, you have to have high friction reps on purpose. Now, what is that? You got to do 1 task per day that creates cognitive strain. You said, what, Doc? You got to do 1 task per day that creates cognitive strain. So that means it's going to be uncertain. I was uncertain. I was certain that mansion was haunted. but I was uncertain if we was going to make it out. What time? I sent Regina an email. Yeah, it's 11 a.m. 11 p.m. I don't know what time, but look at this. Look at this. Look at this. I don't know what time we're getting home. I was very much uncertain about the difficulty and the expertise of the gap work. So uncertainty, difficulty, or expertise in gap work. So when Nova was doing things, first time somebody asked her to mount a TV, I said, say, what now? You about to do what? Why? Why do TVs need to be on the wall? I don't even understand that. Why? Why do they need to be on the wall? What happened to the entertainment centers? They don't make them no more? What do you mean the new TVs won't fit them? They can't make new entertainment centers for the TVs to fit? The entertainment centers are mounted on the wall. The fuck? Why you got to build the entertainment center around the TV on the wall? Who? Why? Why furniture companies? Why? What do you mean you need a stud? Why? You need a stud finder. What do you mean? Why we need a longer level? The one that we get? No, why? So been uncertain. And every time I think I'm comfortable and I know, here comes some LED lights and everything. And plugs in everything. Why? Why? So for me, I do it because I'm uncertain. I take things out the box and I'm looking at this like the pergola. Somebody Google a pergola if you don't know what that is. I'm like, how? It's just pieces of wood. How is this going to turn into a swing? One little curved piece of wood, everything else is flat. And a chain. What is this? So every day, high function, high friction reps. So you activate and strengthen your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and your ACC. And this circuitry of higher level of performance and error detection. And so it strengthens that. And so that my ACC and my dorsolateral prefrontal cortex are strengthening like nobody's business, because there is nothing other than my neuroscience class when I failed that test with all that doggone physics on it. Talk about friction. I had to question my whole existence the first 2 times I failed that doggone test. I was like, do I really need to be talking about the brain? I mean, how important, watch this, how important could synapses, neurons, and the brain be to how the brain functions? I mean, is it really, like, for real? Like, do you really need neurons? I'm questioning myself, but do you really need to know about neurons if you're talking about the brain? Hebb's law. The neurons got to fire and wire to create a synaptic connection. They're having neural pathways in the brain. Yes, you need all this information. So I had to say, listen, toughen up, doc. You better get your shit together. Because I promise you, I was like, but I'm good. I do. But do I need to know about it? I don't need to know about the dentite. The dendrite. I don't need to know about an axon and a soma for what? I don't need to know about the release of the neurotransmitters into the receptors for what? I don't need to know about hyperpolarization and depolarization. Why? Y'all, I ain't never mentioned it to y'all. Y'all ain't gonna know if I don't know why. Because it's necessary for me to meet my potential. Because as Regina says, I'm closing the gap. I'm closing the gap. So, fail the test, and that's why they give you 10 times to pass each test. That's how you know a class is hard. When they give you 10 times, you get 10 times to pass the test to get 80%. That's hard. 3 times to pass the final. Why? Because it's hard. In my 10 years of going to college, I ain't never had 3 times to pass the test, let alone 10. Not one time. Even in my military training, 1 time, 1 failed. That's it. Now you're gone. You're a retread. So high friction reps. Number 2 is explicit self-comparison, not social comparisons. You said what? Right. I was watching the brain video my coworker gave me. It was like watching paint dry. I have sent Regina some of those videos, and I've made Nola watch them, and she's walked out of the room. And I even at one point posted it in the Real Leader thing, on the Real Leader subscription on Instagram. Yes. So anyway, you are explicit self-comparison, not social comparison. That's what a lot of people exit the chat. So you gonna compare yourself. I was like, that ain't Dr. Donna stuff. It ain't. I told y'all I'm the brain whisperer. I promise you. That's why. And this is what's available now, Jared. This is what they made available for the last 15 years. You're like, and that's why when the person was on the live the other day, they said, what part of the brain are you specializing in? And I said, the whole brain. Because people like, the whole brain? But now you You do have to finish it. You do. And any term that you don't understand, write it down. Go in chat. Chat will explain it better in everyday terms. And yeah. So track yesterday versus today. This is what you're going to do when you are doing self-comparison in your default mode network. Output instead of people versus people. Because it's easy to compare. Because you can find conformity bias and confirmation bias will allow you to find somebody that's doing worse than you. You will look until you find somebody doing worse than you. And you'll be like, yep, see, look at me. I'm doing better than them. That's that potential, baby. That's that potential. Okay, but are you doing better than you? Because this is what this is about for me. I became Dr. Donna in 2008. So 2025, Dr. Donna got to be better than 2008, Dr. Donna. 2025, Dr. Donna. Why? Because I'm 17 more years in. So I need to have 17 more years worth of experience and information and expertise. And that's where people start falling short because they comparing their now to somebody else's now. And you're not going to look at your now and look at the people at 52. You're going to look at the people that's 72 or the people that's 22 and say, yep, I'm doing better than them. Like, listen, I got an 870 credit score. I got a 950 credit score. Listen, all my credit cards is paid off. I got unlimited balances on all my credit cards. My house is paid for. My car is paid for. You're going to start saying all that. Okay, cool. When did last time you read a book? I don't need to read books. I get all my information from the news. What news? So if you got a grant and the grant comes up to you with that new math, who going to tell you on the news? CNN going to tell you how to do that new math? Or do you need to go on Khan Academy to get the answers? But you ain't on Khan Academy because you ain't know about Khan Academy because you've been sitting in front of the TV with your paid for credit score, good credit card having ass. That's what's been happening. And so now all you can offer is some money. But money ain't going to buy you, well, in theory, can't buy you past tests. And it definitely ain't going to get you no new neurons. So yeah, that part. So what happens is that this stabilizes when you do you versus you. It stabilizes your ventral medial prefrontal cortex valuation towards internal standards, and it reduces sabotage for external noise. So I am not comparing myself to neuroscientists, neurologists, psychiatrists, and psychotherapists. None of them. I am an educator. So I am looking at what I knew about the brain 13 months ago, really, we might as well call it 12 months ago versus today. So do I know more about the brain and how it functions today than I did on November 2nd of 2024? And the answer is yes. That's the only thing that I can compare it to. Because if I compare it to other educators, they first have to be teaching adults how to use the brain virtually online, and then I have to compare it to that. Because if you're comparing, it has to be apples to apples. So I can't even compare myself to people with PhDs because I have an EDD. I can't compare myself to neuroscientists in a lab with a pen and a pad because I'm out here with boots on the ground. So you see how that doesn't work. But I can compare myself to my current day potential to my 1 year ago potential. And when you do that, you're going to find out if you're living up to your actual potential capacity. So are you Nola now putting that together, that desk, or are you Nola 5 years in putting together mom beds in 36 minutes and bragging about it? Which one? Are you saying, yes, I can put a mom bed together in 36 minutes, but I can also do a subway desk with no instructions, no hardware labeled, no parts labeled, in a haunted mansion with nobody in there with the doors open or the doors unlocked? That's potential. And that's the difference. And so you are strengthening your own ventral medial prefrontal cortex when it's you versus you. That's why at the end, chat is everything now. Definitely. So that's why it's you versus you. That's why at the end of every live, I say, what did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? Because it's personal accountability over here. It's you versus you. That's why there's no hero worship and idolization, fandom, or anything else, because it's you versus you. You're the only person that takes you wherever you go. You can't leave you. You can't say, oh, shit, I done left me at home. I'll be back. Hey, listen, I got to go pick me up. I left me at the house. I'm going to be about 10 minutes late. I think I left me in the bed. Yeah, I was in the kitchen eating. Let me go see if I'm still in the kitchen eating. I'll call you back. You can't do that. So you take you wherever you go. You're going to move, you taking you in those moving boxes. You're going to get a new job, you take you. You're going to start a business, you taking you with that. So if you take you wherever you go, and you have the ability to have 86 billion neurons that can create 860 trillion synaptic connections, why are you looking at them? Why are you comparing? When I ran track, we all ran 100 meters, compare. We all ran the 4x1, compare. We all long jump, compare. When I was in the Army, we all in basic training, compare. We're all platoon leaders, compare. But don't compare me as a platoon leader to a company commander, because we're not doing the same thing. You can't compare a division MP platoon leader to a corps MP platoon leader, because they don't have the same mission and they don't have the same amount of soldiers. You can't do that. When I was in Frito-Lay, I thought it was very much unfair for us to be compared to PC, extruded, and corn, and warehouse and traffic, because we were all resources and none of us had the same job. None of us had the same team. You could have did it in departments, but because that's the same job. PC is PC, corn is Tostitos and Fritos and Doritos, and extruded is Cheetos and corn and the puffs. So the product ain't even the same. How we all get in a room and now y'all deciding if we did good. If there was a corn shortage, corn is going to lose money. So those managers didn't come to work and do a good job with a corn shortage. PC had a bunch of wet breakdowns. They lost money. Those resources didn't come in and do a good job because the damn potatoes the farmers had a bad year. See how that don't make no sense? But we all got compared. What, y'all were in a haunted house doing the desk? Yes, Bridget, if you go watch the live, it wasn't haunted. I said it was haunted. And then Nola said, once she realized that those rabbits was outside meeting, trying to come get me, so the house was being renovated. It's an 8,000 square foot house that was being renovated. So it had scaffolding and walkie stackers and everything. And we were in the room that was finished putting the desk together. And we started at 5:30 in the evening, didn't leave till 1:30 in the morning. And the owner of the house said, and we asked them, Jared, you and the bunnies, and we asked them, how do we lock up? And he said, oh, just leave the doors open because the painters are coming and going, and so they might come in. And so the door wasn't there, so they taped the door off, clear tape. And then to get to the bathroom, I had to walk down a dark hallway because they're still working on the lights and the floor to ceiling windows throughout the whole house, like in Scarface. So it had the winding stair like Scarface. Instead of two, the movie Scarface with Al Pacino, it had one winding stair. So the rest of when they left, they went clink, 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 and turned all the lights off. So yes, it was a very, for me being from the city, it was a get out moment for me. Definitely. I was like, yeah. So the desk was hard itself. The conditions were hard. There was a fly flying around and a mosquito. The ice maker kept making noise and the smoke detector kept beeping. So definitely hijacked the amygdala state, but it all got done. You can watch it. It was Friday's live. So yeah, it was, yeah. And I kept having to go back to the car down this dark corridor, and it was dark, and those rabbits was sitting right under the street light. Every time I came out, and I kept coming back in telling Nola about the rabbits, and finally she went out and she saw them. She's like, okay, yeah, they are a little scary. It's no brainer. Okay, yeah, here's Johnny. So that part is the explicit self-comparison. So do not compare yourself to anybody else unless you are doing the exact same thing at that time. Because the Olympics, yes, you can compare. Everybody swam, everybody skateboarded, everybody ran. Oh no, oh my God, giant rabbits. It was, I'm telling you, Regina, y'all got to watch it. Them doggone things was sitting there. I was like, nope, this is too much. It was so bad because, I'm perimenopausal, so stress causes hot flashes. I literally was having about 6 to 7 hot flashes an hour. So they was coming like contractions. I was putting everything on, taking everything back off, putting everything back on, taking everything back off, putting everything back on, taking everything back off. It was intense. It's by far the hardest appointment. I personally believe Nola was fine. Once she started figuring it out, she was good. Not me at all. Nope, not at all. And I was like, if somebody come in here, what's the first thing I'm grabbing to take them out? It's on YouTube on the live tab. Go for it is the name of it. So it's about 44 minutes. It's worth watching because then you can see the desk, you can understand the whole process. And we did go for it. And Nola met her potential. And it was 2,500 appointments in the making. They was like, this is our hood. They definitely. And I was like, you're right. This is your hood. Real rabbits. Yes, Bridget. Real rabbits. Because of where the house was, they were by the mountains, and so these rabbits, that's their. So it's a big backyard. You had a mountain view and all, it was the view of the city and all of that. It's like 10 minutes from our house, but definitely, yeah, because it's big. So those mansions, they still have grass. They're supposed to get rid of that by 2026. But anyway, so it's these big properties, big houses with all this land around it. So yeah, with one street light, and so they were there. every time we came out. I'm not quite sure. I think because that house was vacant. So that's why the rabbits were there. So number 3 is you replace preference with protocol. So people's preference is to be comfortable and not access their capacity, but that's not potential. So when you replace preference with protocol, you choose and execute a fixed, non-negotiable routine, time-locked reps, instead of when you feel like it. And we talked about motivation is when you feel like it, you sparked, you have a little spark, I'm going to do this. No, that's not empowerment. That's not discipline. So I don't feel like waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't feel like currently doing 2 lives and then going off and helping Nola and do everything else that I have to do in a given day. I don't feel like it. That's not why I do it. Because when you do it in a non-negotiable way, even with my hour and 41 minutes after having a 22.5-hour day, it's non-negotiable. If I tell you keep your word is one of the 74 principles of real leadership, and if I tell you I'm gonna be live at 4, and I'm not there, I'm dead on a 72-hour hold in Clark County, or there's no power in Las Vegas. Those are only 3 reasons why I wouldn't be there. So this builds the basal ganglia habit loops that make elite execution automatic and not emotional. So elite execution. Everything that I do is at an elite level. Regardless if I'm having a hot flash, I'm sleepy, I'm tired, I'm in pain from this body that's just doing what it wants to do right now, I am still at my elitist level every single day. So what questions do you have about the daily actions? So you're going to do high functioning reps, which means if you are not already subscribed on TikTok, you need to do that because that's for you. And then you're going to have an explicit self-comparison, not a social comparison, you versus you. What was you doing this time last year versus what was you doing this year? Because that's going to tell you if you're meeting your potential or not. If you are replacing it with a preference, instead of preference, a protocol. If you doing it because you feel like it, you ain't going to feel like it. The basal ganglia going to say, we don't feel like doing that shit. I'm not motivated to do it. But it has to be elite execution. So this time last year, were you an elite executor? Was you executing elitely? And the answer is no, but you are now. Then you are on the path of meeting your potential. What questions do you have before we get into the quiz? It's a 5-question quiz. And at this point, Jared said, not at all. Drink water. You definitely am now, Nola. You did that. You definitely did that because that desk. But she had to say yes to it. She had to go for it. And she knew what she was getting into. I didn't know what we was getting into. I said 3 hours. I was the Lulu. No, just leave them. Just leave them, Nola. You don't have to. I was going to respond to that after the live. But no, you don't have to do that. That's just to announce it. All right, so get your writing materials out. Get your writing materials out. And you are going to write your answers on your writing materials. Do not put your answers in the comment section. There's going to be 5 questions, and this is the Meet Your Potential quiz. And I will read the question and answers twice, and then I will pause, and I will move on to the next question. So everybody that's taking the quiz, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so we all know that we're ready. I don't even remember last year. Wow. Okay, Bridget. So thumbs up. Meet Your Potential quiz. 5 questions. Thumbs up. Ready to go. I will read the questions and answers twice, pause, and then give you time to answer. And then I will ask after all 5 questions are done, if you need me to repeat one, and then we will proceed. Okay, so question number 1. When you wake up, which choice do you make first? A, check your phone and scroll. B, start the day with a planned task. Or C, decide based on how you feel. Number 1, when you wake up, which choice do you make first? A, check your phone and scroll. B, start the day with a planned task. Or C, decide based on how you feel. Number 2, when a task feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar, you A, avoid it, B, delay it, C, do it anyway. Number 2, when a task feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar, you A, avoid it, B, delay it, C, do it anyway. What's happening with you, Bridget? Why is your thumb down? You can't catch up. Question number 1. What's happening? Because then I'm gonna have to do the whole quiz over. So what's taking place? I'm only on question 2 right now. Are you ready now? Okay. I can screenshot it and send it to you. So yeah, that's question number 2. Question number 3. How often do you measure your output against yourself? How often do you measure your output against yourself? That's yesterday versus today. Answer A, never. Answer B, sometimes. Answer C, daily without negotiation. Number 3, how often do you measure your output against yourself? Yesterday versus today. A, never. B, sometimes. C, daily without negotiations. Number 4, when someone compliments your potential, you got it. So what I can do is just screenshot it and send it to you, and you can answer it after the live. So when someone compliments your potential, you A, feel proud but change nothing. B, tell yourself you'll start later. Or C, increase your execution immediately. Number 4, when someone compliments your potential, you A, feel proud but change nothing. B, tell yourself you'll start later. Or C, increase your execution immediately. Number 5, the main reason you haven't met your potential yet is A, distractions, B, comfort or excuses, and C, you are actively closing the gap. Number 5, the main reason you haven't met your potential yet is A, distractions, B, comfort or excuses, and C, you are actively closing the gap now. Okay? So, 1 through 5. Did anybody miss one before I give you the answers or tell you how to add up your answers? Repeat 4. Number 4. When someone compliments your potential, you A, feel proud but change nothing. B, tell yourself you'll start later. Or C, increase your execution immediately. Number 4, when someone compliments your potential, you A, feel proud but change nothing. B, tell yourself you'll start later. Or C, you increase your execution immediately. And Daisy, number 5 for you. The main reason you haven't met your potential yet is A, distractions, B, comfort or excuses. And C, you are actively closing the gap now. Number 5, the main reason you haven't met your potential yet is A, distractions, B, comfort and excuses, or C, you are actively closing the gap now. So hopefully we're all good, because now I'm going to tell you how to add up what you're going to add up. So you're going to add up all of your answer C's. So you could have 0 answer C's, you could have 1, you could have 2, you could have 3, you could have 4, or you could have 5. So you're only adding up the number of C answers that you have. Ugh. I'm itching and I'm sore. So the number of C answers that you have, that could be anywhere from 0 to 5. Okay, so here are the results. If you have 0 to 1 C, so all your C's, add them up, and here are the results. If you have 0 to 1 C, that means you have comfort over competence. So you like the idea of potential more than the work required. You like the idea of potential more than the work required. Number 2, well, if you have 2 to 3 C's, you are aware but undisciplined. So you know what to do, but you do it inconsistently. You know what to do, but you do it inconsistently. And if you are 4 to 5, you are an active potential closer. You are not wishing, you are wiring. You are not wishing, you are wiring. So what questions do you have about the quiz? And drink water. And if there are no questions and it's clear, go ahead and say that. And I will move on to the brain bit, which is today is the brain as a fire pit. And again, remember the quizzes are a self-reflection for you to assess where you are and where you can be. Okay, so I am working towards my highest level. Yes, that is great. And congratulations, Jared. That's what we all need to be striving for. Be the best. Set and maintain high standards. Okay, so your brain. Okay, Bridget, so you got that answer then. You're in the middle. So your brain as a fire pit. That's the brain bit today. Your brain is like a fire pit. It only burns what you throw in it. It only burns what you throw in it. So put in negativity, excuses, and drama. You'll fuel anxiety and stagnation. If you put in negativity, excuses, and drama, you will fuel anxiety and stagnation. You put in questions, facts, skills, and practice, and you feel competence and growth. Whatever you feed, you heat. That is your brain as a fire pit. You put in, it's only going to burn what you throw in it. So if you got negativity, excuses, and drama, you're going to fuel anxiety and stagnation. If you put in questions, facts, skills, and practice, you fuel competence and growth. So it's up to you. What you feed, you heat. Now, today's question is, what was your everyday flex for yesterday? Everyday flex for yesterday. Everyday flex for yesterday. Everyday flex for yesterday. And if you didn't have one, the personal accountability thing to do is to say, I don't think I have one. I can't recall having one. Everyday flex. Oh. I also learned that yawning sometimes means that you're cooling off your brain, because I was told early on a yawn means a lack of oxygen to your brain, but it's also your brain cooling itself. I'm not sure what an everyday flex is. So, everyday flex is where I was talking on TikTok 2 days ago, and I said too often the majority, the everyday people, yes, the everyday people are all inspired by celebrities and rich people, and they don't think the things that they're doing in everyday life is extraordinary. So we had a school custodian on the live, and she said, I make $14 a day and I make sure that the school is clean and safe. And I said, yes, that matters. And so Bridget, and this is how we got here, is Bridget said, and I use an example, and then Bridget said, I still have $65 left in my food budget for the month, and I saved $500 this month. And so that's the everyday flex. So I said, okay, cool. That was on Thursday. So I said on Friday, we're going to start celebrating our everyday flexes. And so Jared's example is for the entire month, he has been averaging 10,000 steps a day. Nola putting that desk together is an everyday flex. Me getting on live after being up for 23 and a half hours with only an hour and 41 minutes of sleep is an everyday flex. And then I took a 4-hour nap, which take naps is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. So my objective is for us to start celebrating our everyday flexes, because in 365 days, we have 365 everyday flexes. And so we're not looking at other people because they bought a house, because they did something extraordinary and we ain't seen them in 2 years, because what that's doing is building up your own nucleus accumbens reward circuit. And you're saying, I'm the shit today. Here's something that I did. So it's things that you do every day that you can flex about. I completed my entire to-do list on time and thoroughly, which is great for you, Bridget. Congratulations, because Amy and Lala will have you doing everything but the thing you said that you were going to do. Nola said, I put together something new with composite bins yesterday. You also put up customized cat shelves that didn't have a schematic, and the cats were playing on them by the end of the day. So let me see what my everyday flex was yesterday. Downtime. I actually had downtime yesterday, which is great. So we finished watching that Victoria Beckham documentary on TikTok yesterday, and I went to bed on time and slept through the night. Did not even get up one night to pee. Throughout the night, not one night. So what was your be the best version of me? So what was it? And if you're searching and trying to find it, know that you have to remember, I'm looking for an everyday flex. So I flex every single day. Flex every single day. If you did not pop off as somebody and you normally would, if you did not answer the phone, that person that calls always wanting something towards the end of the month, and you said, I'm busy, that's an everyday flex. You're focused on you with that flexing. And for those of you who have already answered it, what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? And what was your brain conversation yesterday? What did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? And what was your brain conversation yesterday? And the circuits that you are strengthening by that is focusing on you, making sure that you learn something every day, and making sure that you are now being accustomed to having brain conversations yesterday. Regina said, I helped a passenger who was in Orlando for the first time get to the baggage claim and discuss his excitement about being in Orlando. That's awesome. I remember the first time I went to the Orlando airport. I was coming from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and I saw the palm trees. I was like, oh yeah, I got to live here. I got to get this job. This is home. Say less. Very excited. I got back home. I called everybody. I was like, they got palm trees. I got to live here. This is it, baby. Bridget said, I walked in the best cancer walk with the Grants. I got to meet ready, and in it, the grill. Oh, you got the meat ready. So you grilled for the bonfire. I did laundry and folded it and put it away. That's important, because people do laundry and they don't fold it. And if they fold it, it don't get put away. So that's the whole laundry loop. People be missing the laundry loop step. They separate it And people got baskets, color-coded baskets. The gray basket is for the light color clothes, and the white basket is for the white clothes, and the dark basket is for the dark clothes. The airport has been upgraded, so it is really beautiful now. Wow. Yeah, I haven't been to Orlando since 2007. No, 8. I took Nola back down there in 2008. That's the last time I was there. But yeah, it was beautiful for me. Because I was used to Detroit Metro's raggedy ass airport before they redid it. It was bad. But now it's upgraded. Okay. So what did you learn today? What did you learn about yourself? Daisy said my flex time was to challenge myself to finish my day work in 5 hours, and I did that. That is awesome. And so when you say this everyday flex, when you say this is my everyday flex, what you're saying is I'm flexing every day. I'm the shit every day. I'm doing big stuff too for me and those around me. That's what you're doing. You are building your bad mofo neural pathway. And what it allows you to do is level the playing field. So these external stimuli that are coming to you being told these people are great, these people are wonderful, these people are great. And now you over here thinking the things that you're doing are inferior for some reason. They are not. You are an everyday person. I'm an everyday person. And we flexing every day, not on because it's reward season. And so the Grammys are on, the Super Bowl, and all these other external things that have nothing to do with you. This is keeping you focused on your everyday, excitable existence. Regina said, I learned what meet your potential means and the importance of comparing myself to myself, because that's all you can do. The external world, the unaccountable, hijacked amygdala people want you to compare yourself to other people so that it supports superiority complex and inferiority complex. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not about to compare myself to a 52-year-old celebrity worth hundreds of millions of dollars. That's not who I am. I'm going to compare myself to me last year when I started studying the brain. That's all I can do. That's all I got to compare. Because we don't have the same decision-making process, the same lifestyle. We didn't do the same things. So what am I comparing to? Now, I know from a medical perspective, they say, oh, you're perimenopausal. So here are some of the things that's happening. Your body is deteriorating. You're losing estrogen. So the biological things I can understand. But that's not what we end up comparing. We end up comparing the social things, the things that we can see. I learned that the brain yawns to cool it off like a computer. Yes. So it's you versus you. And I'm telling you, the you versus you is going to keep you emotionally regulated. It's going to keep you not reactive and on edge and the amygdala looking for a threat. And oh my God, they got to this first. And FOMO, fear of missing out, all that goes away. I learned that I have building and strengthening my prefrontal cortex consistently since February of this year. Yes, I thought it was January. I keep telling you January. It's been February. Roger that. All right. Daisy said, what I learned today is that my lukewarm water attitude will not do. That is correct. It will not do. You need to get to boiling. 212 degrees. Lola said, I learned the real meaning of concept from Dr. Donna. Yes, ma'am. You watched the YouTube video, yesterday's Real Leader Brain. And that's the thing. Nola tells me that all the time. She said, you then took the 5th definition of a word that wasn't nobody paying attention to. And that's the word. That's the word. That's sure, for sure. Nola said, I learned about myself that I have to still do more work for meeting my potential. As you should, being only 22 years old. Yes, ma'am. You don't even have your complete prefrontal cortex yet. Frontal lobe, I keep mixing them up in my head. What I meant, not what I said. All right, and then just brain conversations. What did you learn about yourself? What did you learn today? And your brain conversation. And your brain conversation should be getting interesting, especially if you started the year here. You should definitely be having more advanced brain conversations. I had a brain conversation with Nola's client yesterday. We watched a reaction video of a police cam video. And we watched it because there was a psychology student that does it. So she was explaining what happened. And I was explaining to the client what was happening neurologically. Because everybody was looking at behaviorally. And I was like, this is what's actually happening in that person's brain. So it was interesting to do. while we put up cat shelves. Well, Nola put up the cat shelves and I vacuumed up the drywall. Nola said, my brain conversation was about doing the things of merit, and also people with multiple skills are more fulfilled. They are. People with multiple skills are more fulfilled because they are focused on skill development. And people that don't meet their potential are focused on comfort, and that's where the social comparisons come into play. Regina said, I had a conversation with the Uber driver yesterday and we started talking about politics. I changed the topic and learned about his love of fishing, being from India, and having recently returned from visiting mom and dad in India. And that was an example, and he is an excellent fisherman. That was an example, Regina, of being a thermostat and not a thermometer. So you changed the temperature of the conversation and shifted the focus to him. And then because of that, you closed the reward circuit for him because he was concerned about the politics. And because you changed it and put the focus back on him, he realized that he's an excellent fisherman and that he just finished his family visiting. And that was a natural release of dopamine because he was going to start releasing cortisol had y'all kept having that conversation. So way to go to be a thermostat, not a thermometer. And Jared, yours said your brain conversation was keeping, I think you hit send too soon, doing the work to get these circuits built. Got it. Daisy said, my brain conversation yesterday was that I really needed to learn how every part of my brain works. Yes, and we all need to learn that because when you know how the brain functions, you can start functioning better. You know how you function, and then you can start functioning better. And that's muy bueno. Muy, muy, muy. Bueno. For sure. Okay. Well, this was a great effective live, and we are right at 6:32, 6:33 time frame AM for me. And I will be back tomorrow. We will be, and because I got 3 different things going on with the principles of real leadership, we are going to be talking about the last 2 principles of real leadership on Monday and Tuesday. We're talking about taking naps and relaxing. Those are very important. Very important because that rejuvenates the brain. And they're breaks, not comfort. I will be back tomorrow, God willing, higher power and the universe. Same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. Take care.